So I haven't posted anything in about 2 weeks now, and that's because it's been a rough couple of weeks, and I've had a really hard time finding the motivation to write or to post a video or anything really at all. And that's because I'm in right now what I call a depressive episode. For me, I often explain to people that depression is somewhat like a bow and arrow. Imagine every day little things start to wear on you and start to pull that arrow back and back and back and tighten that string. And then all of a sudden, it becomes so tense and so overwhelming that that arrow snaps and releases, and you enter a depressive episode. And sometimes it's one thing, one minor thing that'll happen that pulls back on that string and releases that arrow, and all of a sudden you're in a depressive episode. Or it may be a bunch of things build up until you can't take it anymore. And that's what I went through recently. The negativity from the election, stress at work, stress of having a puppy, all of those things kept building and building and building. And honestly, I can't even tell you what triggered it, what triggered that release of the arrow. But it got released, and now I'm working through what I call a depressive episode. And I call it that because in my experience, there are highs and lows. And so it's almost like riding a crazy roller coaster of mental illness and trying to navigate every day, not knowing if it's going to be a high or a low. And right now I'm in a low, and sometimes it lasts a couple days, maybe a couple weeks, sometimes a couple months. And there are so many different ways to try and get out of that funk, that episode, that downer time. And for me, it's really hard to find the energy to start working at those things. Being depressed means being tired, not sleeping well, not finding the energy to even put makeup on, not finding the energy to really want to do anything but lay in bed and worry about what the world is thinking. And so to find the motivation to get better is sometimes really hard. Knowing how to get better takes a lot of practice. And so I've let myself have my 2 weeks. I'm missing some days of work or sleeping a little bit later than I should. But now I'm trying to get better. And that means meeting with my therapist and making sure I'm taking care of myself and eating right and exercising, even though I hate sweating, spending time with my puppy, even if she tries to eat my face off, and finding things that give me the small joys. And slowly but surely, I start to notice the up, the pulling out of that episode, the feeling better. And so the reason why I wanted to share this is because I want to put a face to depression. What does it look like? What does it manifest itself as? How does one cope with it? How does it come about? Where does it come from? And although every person is different and depression manifests itself differently for each person, this is a little insight into what it looks like for me and what I do to try and live with it.